what's been transpiring in LA with some of these protests, and then of course, separate from the protests, these disgusting rioters who honestly, I think finally have been effectively dealt with, and I'll tell you why.
Disgusting rioters.
Law enforcement will arrest individuals who break the curfew, and you will be prosecuted.
But protesters continue to pour into the streets of downtown LA.
The LAPD has allowed several hundred protesters here to meander pretty freely right down the streets of downtown Los Angeles for several hours now. The one thing they have not allowed them to do, descend down to the 101 freeway.
And when hundreds of protesters briefly blocked traffic on the 101, police pounced.
Yesterday, pretty much the worst that happened in regard to protesters, demonstrators being disruptive is when they were briefly basically blocking the 101 freeway, which is a major highway in Los Angeles.
Dude, the 101 freeway in downtown is always bumper to bumper. It's a fucking parking lot. Like, I get it. You're not supposed to disrupt the freeway, but acting like protesters disrupting that freeway for an hour or two is gonna do some crazy shit to that freeway that doesn't happen every day. Like, that freeway is literally a fucking parking lot from like 7 to 10 in the morning and from like 2 to 6 at night. Like literally. It is like 2 miles an hour, dude. I drove that fucking road like, a third of my life. This may have been an off-peak time, but like, bro, that's not even a huge deal.
Being disruptive is when they were briefly basically blocking the 101 freeway, which is a major highway in Los Angeles. And they did so around 4 o'clock, which was, of course, during rush hour traffic, which is kind of disastrous for people who are trying to get home from work. But nonetheless,
4 o'clock. It literally, it would have no effect on people getting home. Right? At that point, it would probably give them something interesting to focus on while they're not moving. Right? Like, come on, man.
The SEIU held its own protest in this context, of course, and they had roped it off. They ensured that anyone wearing a mask to hide their identity was not included in their demonstration because they understand the importance of protecting the freedom of speech, the right to peacefully protest from these bad actors who really have no interest in doing the right thing or accomplishing anything politically speaking. So let's get into the
See, we should note that blocking freeway traffic to make a point, to make things uncomfortable, is a peaceful protest, right? I mean, they do it here in Portland. They'll block the freeway and it'll fuck up traffic all day and everybody will find out the subject of the protest. But here we let it happen. Cops used to try to break that shit up, but then they got bullied. You know what I'm saying? Dude, yeah, no, the no mask shit. I mean, dude, the ICE people are wearing masks, right? You can't police people wearing masks. Like, fuck you, right? The no mask shit. Like, fuck off, dude. I can wear masks and you can't fucking stop me. And you arrest me for wearing a mask, that is a First Amendment violation. There is not a fucking dress code. If I want to walk around in a goddamn motorcycle helmet, like, you can eat a fucking dick, bro. I can wear what I like.
As I had told you guys repeatedly on the show, these riots were nothing like what we experienced in the summer of 2020.
Dude, it wasn't a riot. If you look at it, the area of this shit is like tiny. Here's a map of Los Angeles. Okay, this, you ready? From here, just to give you a scale, I went to high school in Glendale. From Glendale to UCLA, which is right over here by Sunset and the 405. This right here is 12 miles by freeway. Freeway there, that's 12 miles. Okay, to give you a scale of this map. So this right here is like 10 miles, 8 miles across. And dude, that's where the cars were burned and where those, cinder blocks were thrown, whatever bricks were thrown at the cop cars. Tiny. It was like literally nothing right there. It's not a major part of the city. It was not citywide. I mean, dude, during Rodney King, this area right here, this whole area around the 110, all the way down the 110 through South Central, this whole area was like a fucking war zone, bro, where there was like I got off the freeway once right after Rodney King, like, I don't know, 4 days into the curfew or some shit. I was coming back from my girlfriend's house. I lived down in Redondo Beach down here, and my girlfriend lived north of Glendale and La Crescenta. I was riding my motorcycle and I ran out of gas on the 110. And so I pushed it off the freeway and just went door to door looking for somebody to tell me where there was a gas station. Dude, every third building was like rubble, or like it showed signs of having been burned. It was insane, dude.
Now that that rioting in LA, and hopefully this continues, is less of an issue, news reporters, I've noticed, have actually started focusing more on the stories of the individuals who have been detained by ICE in Los Angeles. So first, let me just say, when it comes to the arrests made by federal authorities, Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials said that hundreds of people have been taken into custody during the raids since Friday night. However, it's not really clear exactly how many people, have been arrested. So they've been detained, but
dude, they don't even know. Like, this is what's so wild about this shit. They're so bad at this. You know, the Trump's deportation, whatever, the way ICE is operating, you can tell the leadership is bad. She does, dude. She's been romanticizing the riots. She's been like focusing on like the law enforcement presence, which is wild. But this point she made right here, I think tells us a lot about why we're in this situation. Because Trump is like desperate to like get rid of millions of people. That's what he wants. Like, oh, millions. Like, they would need to get 3,000 people a day to get 1 million people in a year. And to find 3,000 undocumented people a day is like, dude, it's just so unrealistic. I mean, if you're catching them coming across the border, maybe, right? But they like shut down the border. They're not deporting people as they cross the border. They're trying to go around from restaurant to restaurant or business or city block or Home Depot. And dude, it's so ragtag. It's so unorganized. There's no good leadership. They don't have a plan. And this is why it's all fucking blowing up in their face. And it's a huge failure where they will be out there grabbing, they're just like throwing darts, hoping it lands on an undocumented person. But you know how inefficient that is? You know how inefficient it is to just go to a random business and raid it and then try to figure out who's documented and who's not? It's gonna chew up all fucking day to go to one spot and maybe you find like 5 people and you've literally just spent $100,000, right, to accomplish nothing. Like, that's it. And even the ICE groups are not coordinated with local law enforcement. They're not coordinated with each other. They're not coordinated with DHS. Like, they're literally just wasting money. They're doing this shit like ragtag, unorganized, fumbling around in the dark like fucking Keystone Cops. And then it's blowing up into protests, which is then slowing them down. They're getting trapped in buildings and even bringing the Marines and shit. They're bringing the Marines and the National Guard, 134 million. And what are those guys doing? Dude, those guys are sleeping in the basement of a federal building on the floor with no food. They don't even know what they're doing. They can't help law enforcement because of legality, because of the constitutional issues. So they're just like standing around to be seen, you know, and like So, dude, everything Trump is doing is just poorly managed. Like, the reality is Donald Trump wants to deport 1 million people a year, but he's not capable of it. Okay, him and the people he put in leadership positions who are only there because of loyalty, these guys are not capable of deporting 1 million people a year. They're not capable of it. Like, they're literally the mass deportations they want to do in their mind's eye. None of the people in those leadership positions, including Trump, have the skills to actually even execute this shit, which is why we're going to have civil unrest and conflict. And like, you know, it's like, dude, they just don't, they're just fucking ridiculous.
Are they still detained? Were they arrested? Do they have charges? We don't know. An immigration rights leader though, in Los Angeles said that about 300 people have been detained by federal authorities in California since the sweeps began last Friday.
So last Friday, so in almost a week, they've detained 300 people, okay? Their goal, mind you, is to 3,000 a day, right? And in all of LA, in a week, they grabbed 300, okay? Now, maybe they grabbed some more nationwide, but dude, they've spent like $140 million to get 300 people and a whole bunch of bad press that is going to just fucking sink their campaign, dude.
The administration is definitely motivated to carry out more of these ICE raids because President Trump was falling short of the number of daily deportations carried out by the Biden administration in its final.
There it is, right? Even though Biden didn't have this goal of like deportations, the people that Biden put in leadership positions were capable of accomplishing the job. Donald Trump is just not capable of accomplishing any fucking job. He's capable of like doing the jerk it dance and posting on Twitter, but that's about it, right? He's not capable in any of the capacities of like being a president, and none of the people he's appointed are either, because they're all appointed for right? They're not appointed because they're good at their job. They're appointed because they would eat a dick for him. They would eat the corn out of his shit or break the law for him. You can't do high-level work when everybody who works for you is just terrible at what they do. So what they're doing is they're just running around like desperate. Like, oh yeah, let's go to the Home Depot parking lot and pick some guys up, right? I mean, dude, they're flailing. They're just not capable. Dude, there's no way, dude. Yeah. And they're probably all stepping on each other's toes. That's why it's just a fucking disaster. I gotta say though, guys, one of the things that I think right here with the protests, I think it illustrates the craziest flip of Anna. I know people talk about like the transphobia and the homelessness, but I think this is the biggest flip that I've really seen in Anna is about the policing. And you haven't really seen it in Cenk a little bit, but with Anna, 5 years ago, dude, she was like, we need to reform policing. Policing as it is now cannot exist. Like, we need to fix this. Civil rights violation, human rights violation. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, she was as defund the police as anyone on the left wing 5 years ago. And now she is like cheering the cops if they're cracking skulls. Like, she is cheering police presence, activity, and oppression. She is like That's the biggest fucking switch with her, which is pretty wild. It's been pretty wild to watch. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.